Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today I'm talking about the knee-jerk reaction for double game week 20. If you guys are looking forward to some more FPL videos, drop a like and subscribe as it really does help out the channel, and click that notification bell to stay up to date with lots more FPL content coming your guys' way shortly. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we talk about the most transferred in and transferred up players coming into game week 20, and then give you guys a recommendation as to whether or not you should go with the crowd and bring these players into your teams or release them from your squads. First of all, let's have a look at the top transfers in. Mitrovic is surprisingly the most brought in player ahead of game week 20, despite picking up that suspension for the remainder of game week 19. Despite this though, he still will be good to go for his game week 20 fixture, as of course he does have that double game week in game week 19 and would just miss the second fixture of the double game week. He was able to provide a goal in game week 19 as well before the end of this week. He got himself a goal, also picked up that yellow card, obviously taking him down to 5 points, but he's been in great goal scoring form for Fulham. He's got himself a couple of attacking returns in his last 3 games. He did blank in one of his first 3 matches back from the return of the Premier League season, and that blank was only because he missed a penalty. So despite getting himself a goal and 2 assists in his first game and a goal in his 3rd game back from the Premier League, and he still missed that penalty, so he's definitely getting into good positions for Fulham and getting some great chances as well. So he's definitely a player to look out for from game week 20 onwards, and he's still got some decent fixtures coming up as well. They definitely aren't the most favourable from game weeks 21 through 23, but with a player in such good form like he's in, definitely one to consider for the teams, and a very nice value option at just 7.1 right now. Marcus Rashford, another very popular transfer, and I can see why a lot of people are looking to get him in the team, as he's got himself 3 goals in his last 3 matches for Manchester United, but he's got some tricky fixtures coming up in the next couple of weeks for them, so I'm not sure personally that I'm a massive fan of him. Yes, he's been in great form, but the fixtures definitely aren't the best for Manchester United coming up. So maybe if you're looking to get in Marcus Rashford, the fixtures are something to consider. Yes, he's been in good form, but maybe in the next couple of weeks you could look to hold off him and then potentially get him back in after that when he's got a more favourable fixture run. And Martin Odegaard, a player that's been featured a lot recently on one of the more transferred in players lists, because he's been in such great form for Arsenal and is surprisingly one of the highest scoring midfielders coming into game week 20, as he's really emerged recently with quite a few double-digit hauls. I'm not a big fan of Odegaard as well. He's got decent underlying stats, not quite as good as Martinelli's and Saka's, but he's providing those attacking returns and he picks up bonus points when he gets himself goals and assists. And with Arsenal's double game week in game week 23, he could be a nice differential option to target as well, compared to that ownership of Martinelli especially, which is sitting around 50% right now. If you want to get a slightly more differential Arsenal asset, Odegaard could be the one. And if you're looking for a triple up on Arsenal attack, maybe you've got Saka, Martinelli and Odegaard. That is potentially a possibility, as a lot of people were looking at the Arsenal triple up at the start of the season when Gabby Jesus was in their team, and maybe Odegaard could be that 3rd player to complete that Arsenal triple up, as I'm sure a lot of people are going to look to those Arsenal assets for double game week 23, as they do have a couple of very favourable fixtures. Casting our eyes over to the most transferred out players now, Trossard features here. He is on 0 points so far for game week 19. Couldn't provide anything against Everton. He's obviously a good transfer out option. Never been a massive fan of Trossard. His underlying stats just aren't quite there. Yes, he's provided a couple of big hauls this season in individual games, but I just don't like him going forward. Mo Salah, surprisingly, is one of the more transferred up players as well. Yes, there's been a bit of frustration with him blanking in 2 consecutive games, but he still is getting into some good positions for Liverpool. I guess the main reason why you look to get Salah out is to get De Bruyne in for the double gaming for Man City. And that it actually is a transfer that I'm personally looking at making, just because Man City have that double game week in game week 20, then have that double coming up fairly shortly after that. So maybe you look to target Kevin De Bruyne instead of Mo Salah. He's probably the only player that I look to replace Mo Salah with. So if you're looking to get rid of Salah for someone else outside of De Bruyne, I probably wouldn't make the transfer. But if it is for KDB, I am definitely a big fan of that move. And Ivan Toney, a player that's also been a very popular popular transfer out. He's actually the third most popular player to depart the squads. I don't recommend making this transfer out, as after looking at some comments by the Brentford manager, he said it's a very minor injury. He's very happy with the extent of the injury, that it's not very big, and he should be good to go for game week 19 even for Brentford. He wasn't obviously able to do so. He got 0 points in that game week, but I think he should be good to go for game week 20. So just seeing Thomas Frank's perspective on the injury, he thinks it's going to be a fairly short-term injury, and especially with the longer break before game week 20, he should be good to go to get into that starting side. And Fantasy Football Fix currently give him a 100% chance of starting for game week 20, so they also think he's going to be fine to recover in time for game week 20. So personally, wouldn't look to transfer him out, especially considering how good Brentford's fixtures are in the next 3 to 4 game weeks. So with these most popular transfers in mind, let's have a look at our Game Week 20 transfer watch list, and this is definitely one with a lot of key talking points due to the double game weeks for Manchester City and Tottenham, who are obviously two sides with some very big FPL options that we'd be looking to target, plus a couple of Liverpool players that could be coming into form as well. The first one here is Alexander-Arnold. He's picked himself up 2 assists, in fact, in his last 2 games for Liverpool, and of course, any time that Alexander-Arnold gets returns, everyone seems to cast their eye over to him, as of course we know how good he can be when he's at his best for Liverpool. And maybe this could be the hint of some form that he's been able to re-find. With 2 attacking contributions in his last 2, it's brought him up to 3 assists across the season. He's also paired this with 1 goal as well. The main thing is now that Liverpool just need to tighten up their defence. They do definitely have the fixtures to do so, especially with Brighton away. Definitely not the worst fixture from a defensive standpoint. And if Trent can get a clean sheet in this one, plus look to provide more attacking returns, he's always on for a haul. So not saying that you look to get Alexander-Arnold in right now, but definitely a player to keep an eye on, as if he can keep ticking over those attacking returns. And the main thing is, if Liverpool can improve their defensive form, then Trent could be a very nice option. He is still fairly expensive though at 7.3 at a similar price to Cancelo. Cancelo on the other hand as well has definitely been struggling for minutes for Man City, and Man City's defence has been slightly leaky recently, so maybe if Liverpool can improve their defensive form, Trent could be the preferred premium over Cancelo, but I wouldn't look to get him in right now. Just be interested to see how that one plays out. Mo Salah does remain on the watch list, as he still has a good projected points in the next 6 game weeks of Liverpool. Yes, he has blanked in his last couple of matches, but underlying stats are still there, and he still is projected to score quite well in game week 20 with 5.6 points, which is fairly high amongst these single game week players. So always a player to keep an eye on. The only reason I'd be looking to get rid of Mo Salah would be for De Bruyne, as I touched on previously, but otherwise Salah is still a good option in his own right. Mitrovic remains on the on the watch list once more at 7.1. I still like him as a good value forward option, and yes, he will be able to return for game week 20, as he's just going to miss that next game in game week 19. And he is projected to score fairly decent across the next 6 with 24.9 points, and just with the form he's in right now, definitely one to keep an eye on. Bukayo Saka is another player that also remains on the watch list. He's getting that double game week in game week 23 coming ever closer now. And with a big fixture in the London derby against Tottenham, hopefully he can rise up to the occasion and produce another attacking return. This was the first week that he's blanked with the return of the Premier League season. He still was looking very threatening in game week 19, but just couldn't provide any attacking returns. He nearly had a penalty shout as well, as Arsenal were appealing for a penalty in this one, and Bukayo Saka could have potentially been on that penalty. So he's always in good positions, always looking threatening. So I still like Bukayo Saka as an option, even with a slightly trickier fixture against Tottenham. And then looking at some double gaming players. Now, this is a player that I really like from Manchester City, and it is Akanji. He's coming in at £5 million and has started the last 6 matches for Manchester City in the Premier League. So he is getting very good consistent starting minutes under Pep in the Premier League. And I think at £5 million right now, at £2 million less than Cancelo, getting consistent starting minutes, maybe you look to get an Akanji instead of Cancelo, or add Akanji to your defense in conjunction with Cancelo. to get that double Man City defence with the double game week in game week 20 of Manchester United away and Tottenham. Yes, these aren't the easiest fixtures, but we know how good Manchester City's defence is. There really isn't a difficult fixture for Manchester City, as they're always looking to dominate games. Man City also have another double game week coming up fairly shortly outside of game week 20, so I really like Akanji as a pick, as he's pretty much nailed on in that Manchester City defence, starting pretty much every game across the last 6. Well, he's starting every game across the last 6, plus he's been getting good at starting minutes across the season as well. So for that reason, I think Akanji could be a great pick. He's expected to score very well in game week 20 with 6.4 predicted points. And across the next 6, he also has a fairly high projected score of 27.4. So definitely a big fan of Akanji at just 5 million. A great way to get in that Man City defense for good, consistent minutes. Harry Kane as well, another player that's worth looking at. He's definitely my favourite Tottenham asset. Yes, his double game week on paper isn't the best with Arsenal at home and Manchester City away. But that London derby is a fixture that Kane likes to get himself goals in. Hopefully he can continue his good form this season. He's been very good with the return of the Premier League as well. Picked himself up a goal in the first game back from the Premier League's resumption. And of course, he's been very good this season. Tottenham also are a side that have had success against Manchester City in the past. Harry Kane having a big say in those fixtures as well. So despite them being difficult games, Kane can rise to the occasion. And that is why he's projected to score the second best out of any player on this watch list in game week 20 with 8.9 points. And he also has the third highest predicted points across the next 6 by fix with 34 of players on this watch list. Kevin De Bruyne as well, another player that I really like for the double game week, and is probably going to be one of the highest scoring players across a double game week 20 for Man City, and Fix thinks so as well with 10.7 predicted points this game week, which is only behind Erling Haaland in terms of total predicted points for game week 20. And he has an absolutely monstrous predicted points in the next 6 game weeks with 44.7, which is also a figure only bettered by by Erling Haaland. So with 2 double game weeks in the next 6 fixtures for Manchester City, I really like De Bruyne as a great premium midfielder option, and is probably now the best premium midfielder option to target, just considering how many fixtures Manchester City do have. And then Ivan Toney as well is on the watch list, as he should be good to go for game week 20. Don't be put off by the flag by FPL. I think he's going to be fine for this fixture, where he's got Bournemouth at home, which is definitely a good match to target for him. So hopefully he could be a nice pick. He's still, even if he does miss this game, he's still got good fixtures after this. So we'll have to see how he goes with the return of when he comes back for Brentford, whenever that may be. He also is projected to score pretty well in game week 20 with 6.1 points, and is expected to score 29.9 across the next 6, which is a pretty good tally as well. Thanks for watching today's knee-jerk reaction for Game Week 20. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like and subscribe to show support for the channel. And there is going to be lots of FPL videos coming your guys' way shortly, which will mean you'll have to click that notification bell to stay up to date. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.